What's up, family? How y'all doing today? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel. You know what it is. It's your boy D. So this is D's Daily DD, where we do our due diligence and we're growing the family, right? We've been here a little over 2 months, guys, and I appreciate you, to the new subscribers and all that. Thank you. We are growing the family, and I'm enjoying this journey, like I always tell you guys. All right, so it is Monday. We got a little bit of action going on. I got some news, some stuff to bring up to you guys, to point out. All right, so I hope you pay attention, because we're gonna get started right away. Okay, I hope you had a nice relaxing weekend and all that, but it's time to refocus, and it's time to just be patient. All right, because the big day is coming, guys. All right, and of course I'm talking about the AMC squeeze, and we gotta cover a little bit about our other stocks, talk about Lucid, talk about BITFARMS making some moves, guys. All right, so definitely want to show you guys that, what's going on with that, and then Loopring. All right, guys, so let's jump into this. All right, cool. The first thing I'm gonna bring up here is you know, guys, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a strategy, what I kind of thought over the weekend, and I just want to say, apes, please, like, have an exit strategy, have a plan, right? Have numbers, have a goal. Like, don't get too greedy. All right, that's just some of the things that you have to keep in mind when this thing goes crazy, guys. It's gonna be wild. All right, it's gonna be a lot happening at once, right? And it's not gonna last forever, guys. Remember that you know, whatever, either you know, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial planner, none of that. Like I always tell you guys, right, you're in charge of your own money when this all goes down. But you know, this is the information I got. Like, you have to have a plan, and you have to have some sort of logic, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna ride this to 100K, right? Because what if 100K never comes, right? Then you miss out on making some potential gains there, some real money. All right, so let's jump into this. So let's start from left to right. All right, so in my opinion, guys, the how high the price can go is gonna determine, it's gonna weigh on the OG apes, right? The people who got in at first. Because if you know how we have been saying that there's synthetic shares out there and there's real shares. The real shares, they probably ran out back in June, right? After that crazy second squeeze. But before that, you know, we have the apes that got in December, January, February, March, all that. So they have been accumulating their shares, right? They have been holding their shares, and they're mixed in with synthetics, right? Because there's no way for us to know if they're real or synthetic or credits or whatever, right? We don't have proof of that right now. So if the apes have been buying since January, and we probably ran out of the real AMC shares in 2021, and all you have is just, you know, now synthetics. Yes, the synthetic people, like, if you bought in later, yeah, you're still gonna get paid, right? You can still sell them and make the money, but they're all mixed in, right? And what do the shorts need in order to cover, right? Because when the price starts shooting up and it starts going nuts like this, right? Like when it hits the 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 per share, that's because the shorts are covering, guys. That's because the FOMO kicks in. That's because the brokers are buying shares as well, like Lou says, right? That they're going to need to buy shares as well. So that's a lot of buying pressure, guys. If you are in this play and you're still questioning, like, how it can go from 22 all the way to thousands of dollars, then I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, there's so much information out there on how this happens. Okay, so the price right now, it's 22.72. Today was just kind of like BS, in my opinion, right? Because it started dropping in the morning, and then we had a little run, it dropped again, and then it went back up. All right, but you know, the shorts, they need real shares to cover, to close their position, right? So when they're buying, they're going to be trying to look for the real ones, and then they're going to be getting rid of the fake ones, right? But if they just got a bunch of fake ones coming in, then they can't close that position, right? Until they find the real ones that are supposed to be out there. But like I said, it's mostly gonna depend on the OG apes, I think, because if they don't sell the real ones, then they can't close out their positions, right? If they're, you know, if the OG apes start selling when it hits 5,000, 10,000, maybe 15,000, right? And the shorts cover, guys, the price is gonna come down, right? Because the synthetics, remember that they don't affect, right, like how they report the short interest and the short numbers and all that, right? They're hiding them, in my opinion, right? So the synthetic shares don't weigh in as much as the real shares, right? And because and to me, that's totally, you know, logical. It's totally fair to say that, you know, if you started buying in August or later over here, you know, you probably have a bunch of synthetic shares in your folder. That's just how the math breaks down, right? Because back in what, June, when Adam said that we had over 4 million shareholders, guys, I mean, even back then it didn't add up, right? So that means that moving forward, like everybody who was buying over here, you know, probably has synthetic shares. All right, so I just wanted to point that out because remember, there's going to be a day when they're going to have to cover these, guys. And it might be next week, it might be 2 weeks from now. I don't know when, but I do believe that it will happen and the squeeze will happen, all right? Because like I pointed out in my other videos, guys, it's already happened twice. You know, history tends to repeat itself. So I believe the third one is coming. And then there's all the proof about like why the options chain, right? And these dates that have to do with the options that are coming up and why everything's loaded on the 21st, right? Of course, I'm very curious to see, you know, what happens, but I have my plan, guys, right? I have my brackets, I have my numbers. I'm going to be selling on the way up, right? Because if I hit a certain number, guys, like, and I make a good chunk, right? Because in my head, I'm going to walk away with between like, because of the amount of shares I have, I'm going to walk away with like 500,000, maybe to like 3 million, right? Somewhere in that range, because nobody knows where the price will go. But I will be using limit orders, okay? I will not be using market orders. Market orders, like, it's just going to fill you at whatever price they can. So say the price is like at 5,000, they might fill you at like 4,500, depending on the spread, all right? But for me, even if you put in a limit order, guys, it doesn't get filled. You can cancel that limit order and then put in it a little bit lower, right? But you're gonna have to be quick about this, guys. Like when you're trying to make these sell orders and they're not going through, you're probably gonna have to try a couple times, right? I mean, it's gonna be madness, guys, in my opinion. All right. So I wanted to point that out. Let's go over to the internet. This week, the max pain for AMC is sitting at 24. Now we're currently at 22.72, right? That's pretty close to that, all right? So in my opinion, guys, like this week, next week, this is how the price can get out of control fast, right? Because if we start to make moves right above, we start going to 26, 28, 30, then most likely the options chain, right, has not been hedged for because they're thinking that they're going to be able to pin it at $24 by Friday, okay? That's just normally what we tend to see. Here's the options, right? For this week, I don't really see much, not for this week, guys. It's, you know, I think it's going to be actually, to be honest, a pretty mellow week. But come next week, that's when I expect to see a lot of movement, all right? And these are for the puts, right? So I'm like looking just at the open interest. This is where all the action is, right? So you can probably say the price might land right around here because they tend to pin the price. Just like what we saw on Friday, right? I mean, what was up with that we saw 23.11? I saw 23.11 when I was recording, and then they moved the price down to 22.99, right? That was really, really sketchy, guys. I don't know, like that was definitely some manipulation, right? Okay. And then you do have some open interest going on here, right? Not too much, nothing crazy for the calls, but when we switch it to the 21st, that's the big week that everybody's been talking about. Look at how many are already in the money, right? We need these to be exercised in order for them to have to locate the shares, right? That's what would help the price move up. Now we go down and people are still, you know, going crazy for these. We have more that have been added to the $145 strike price, right, by the 21st. So 199,000, and if you multiply that times 100, guys, you know, that's how crazy this could get. All right. And it could be a potential gamma squeeze, right? That's what I always like to say and talk about is there's a lot of potential here for a gamma squeeze. All we need, you're right, is like the volume, the price to start moving up, and then we have some buying pressure, right? As long as we get over the $28, $30 level, right? Because we've been kind of stuck here for a while. But please remember, have your exit strategy, guys. All right. Another thing I want to point out, hedge funds struggle to lure new money as performance lags. All right. We've been talking about how all these hedge funds are closing and, you know, they're talking about how they're not making the returns they were making. And right here, big rallies in the U.S. tech behemoths and a series of painful market jolts have disrupted many hedge funds' attempts to lure back investors who have deserted the sector in recent years. Hedge fund gained 8.7 on average from January to November 2021, according to data provider This marks the third consecutive year of gains, but trails by some distance, right? Because that was back then, I think they had a 24% total return over that period. Managers have lagged behind. Ooh, what did I click? Managers have lagged behind the benchmark from the U.S. equities index because they tend to hold relatively small positions in giant tech as like Apple, Google, Alphabet, and Tesla. And those are the ones that have rallied in 2021, but they didn't, because of all the shorting, right? They were mostly putting their money into shorts, right? Inflows into hedge funds have in turn proved meager, with performance concerns adding to investor questions about returns and fees. All right, and then what I want to point out, of course, is it's the retail people too, right? Okay, here we go. This part is what I want to point out. So this managing partner, which advises clients on hedge fund investments, said that there has been a huge dispersion in hedge fund performance in 2021. A fund betting on a company's failing share price might correctly predict a poor set of earnings, but then you might get your face ripped off if retail and traders come into the stock, which we saw, of course, before, right? We've seen it with many plays. As soon as retail finds out that there's a high short interest, right, they tend to attack those stocks. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Kind of goes a little more into a little more detail, but yeah, I mean, you have multiple hedge funds, and we've all seen that video that came out about how the guy was talking about how the whole GameStop situation happened, and I really liked that video, right? All right. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, you might want to check that out. But good managers have done well, but there have been many landmines along the way, said Tiger Williams, founder of outsourced trading company Williams Trading. All right, so keep that in mind, guys, that the hedge funds aren't exactly happy with everything that's going on either, right? And especially with these, because we hold strong and we don't let go of our companies. Now, all I'm going to point out here on the chart, guys, is like, look how perfect this followed the SPY, right? So this is the SPY. Look at this. It drops, comes down, comes up, same exact pattern. So today, guys, I mean, even though we were basically flat, the rest of the stock market did not do so well, right? So the NASDAQ was up 6.93%. The Dow was down 162 points, and then the other one was down at 47.21, right? So it definitely followed the market today. But remember that, like, this chart, this first AMC, guys, it doesn't really hold much, right? Because we don't really care what the day-to-day price is. What we care about is when the shorts cover. And then another thing I'll point out, right, is like, we're gonna look at the order flow here real quick. So more money coming in than going out, which is good. Retail was buying up today, 43 versus 41, and then 80 versus 76. All right, that's all I really got to show on AMC right now. So let's go ahead and move on to Lucid. Okay, yeah, and like I said, it might, for AMC, it might come down and touch this, but I see a green, right? We see the double bottom pattern, which a double bottom pattern is usually a bullish reversal sign. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and move on to Lucid. All right, Lucid right here, kind of a flat day as well. It was 41.72 right now is the price, and it was down 0.62%. Volume was pretty low, right? 44 million. And then if we look at the order flow, 339 versus 337. So a little more buying pressure coming in for Lucid. Okay. But, this is showing strength to me, guys. This is the 2-minute chart, right? Like I always said, when it starts to ride the EMAs and you get above them, those are bullish signals, right? Especially for day traders, right? Which later on, guys, when the market does come back, we'll be going over some day trading stuff. But right now, I'm just kind of just sitting, just chilling, right? Holding my positions, waiting for this time to kind of pass by, all right? But Lucid, I'm very happy with the way it's been holding, guys, the strength in it, right? Even though volume has been pretty low, it's not like it's tanking, right? And we do have a lot of bullish articles that have been coming out and explaining why this is a good, investment, guys. Not a trade, not like a day trade, not a swing trade. This is a long-term investment, right? More of that style. So yeah, we got the EMAs, right? As long as it's riding, it fell under, but it made its way back up above the EMAs. All right. Let's look at this 10-minute chart. Same thing. We already looked at the order flow. So let's go over to this article. So here's why Lucid and Ford could be 2022's top EV growth stocks. Lucid confirmed it is on track to deliver cars to Europe this year. Saudi Arabia could be a massive market as well. And then Ford is ramping up EV production faster than expected, right? And in my opinion, guys, right, Lucid is already ahead of the game a little bit because the bigger players are trying to come in now, right? Like GM, Ford, and so on. But just 1 week into New Year, the share price of EV, Lucid, and Ford both surged over 10% despite simultaneous losses from the S&P 500, right? So that's something to point out. Lucid has still been holding and going up a little bit, even though the NASDAQ, because it is part of the NASDAQ now. And favorable short-term price action isn't grounds for long-term investment, but there are excellent reasons why Lucid and Ford are set up nicely to grow in 2022 and beyond. Here's the latest on each company, which makes both electric stocks, a great buy now. On Tuesday, Lucid responded on Twitter to a user, right, about expanding to the European market and the deliveries out there. And they say it will begin this year, right, in 2022. So stay tuned for country-specific deliveries, right? We went over this as well. So right here's another part. The CEO said this: we're looking to expand our footprint in Europe and Middle East, and we expect to enter those markets in 2022. There has been continued expansion on the team in both regions with key additions to leadership and employee base. And we are excited to bring the prospects of these key regions. We believe this will help establish Lucid as a global brand and address untapped market demand in these regions. Right, so they're going to new markets, trying to expand to new areas where they can gain ground and really get some sales, right? An entry level, while taking actions to address the climate change through sustainable mobility, right? So I like all that for sure. It's talking about how they recently raised about $6 billion right here, which should be able to fund its operations well into 2023, right? So that's what you want to see from a company, right? You don't want to see them struggling to make ends meet or whatever, right? So yeah, I'll put this down below. It's kind of the same thing with these articles. They kind of just go over the same thing over and over. It's just kind of comparing it to Ford, right? But I'm not invested in Ford. I don't really care about Ford, to be honest. All right. So yeah, it's just talking about Lucid is a worthwhile high risk, high reward option in the space, while Ford arguably has the best around value and growth, the profile in the EV stocks. Both companies are viable additions to a diversified EV basket for investors who are looking for future leaders in an auto industry that could one day be dominated by EVs, right? So if you're looking for a future leader, yeah, Lucid, I think, is going to be one of the future leaders, right? All right, cool. Let's go over to BITFARMS, guys. I mean, it's just low volume. Like I said, nothing crazy's happened, right? Even though some good news came out right now, guys, it's pretty much flat. It's going up a little bit after hours right now. It's sitting at $4.33. But we have seen this as high as $6, $8, remember? So I'm not worried though. I've done a lot of research on this. So, I've tried to explain to you guys what they really do, right? They mine crypto. They're worth a lot of money, guys. They have a lot of cash on hand, right? So the current stock price, whatever, like if you haven't gotten in, to me, guys, not financial advice, but this is a good buying point where you could easily double or triple your money, right? Your investment in the next few months, not tomorrow, not the next day, not next week, but these guys are slowly making moves, right? And Bitcoin crypto in general has been coming down. We know that. Last night there was a flash crash, where Bitcoin kind of went down to like 39 or something, I think. So right now it's at 41.7, but nothing compared to what it's been at in the past, right? So it's dragging this down with it. Not too much to show you, here, guys. Of course, what I want to see now is a reversal, because it's just been in the same downtrend for a while now, right? These little pops don't really mean nothing if it still ends up coming down, right? And I still have, this supply and demand zone. I think that's why it's holding this price. That's why I use these guys, especially when I'm trading, just to to show where the supports and the resistance are. Multiple ways to find those, but yeah, like you see how it bounces off of this, bounced, came up, couldn't hold it, came back down. So now it's gonna hopefully find resistance here again, right? It's like a double bottom, so it'd be 1, 2, and then reverse, and we start to make our way back up. But remember, the whole market, guys, is down right now. Been down for a couple weeks, right? All right. But what I do need to point out here is this. Okay, so they seized an opportunity, right? Canada's BitFarms bought 43 million in Bitcoin during the 300 billion crypto crash. So these guys literally bought the dip. Canadian Bitcoin mining company BitFarms announced Monday it invested 43.2 million in Bitcoin as the cryptocurrency plummeted about 12% during the first week of the year, becoming the latest publicly traded company doubling down on the crypto market despite some experts warning its volatility and makes it an unreliable investment. We all know crypto is very volatile. So in a Monday statement, Toronto-based said it purchased 1,000 Bitcoins during the first week of January, boosting its holdings to more than 4,300 coins, worth about 175 million, guys. BitFarms posted about 121 million in revenue during the 12 months ending in September. With the dip in Bitcoin, we seized the opportunity to move cash into Bitcoin, BitFarms founder and CEO said in the release, while adding the company's guiding strategy to accumulate the most Bitcoin for the lowest cost and in the briefest amount of time, right? So they're obviously super bullish on crypto, on Bitcoin, and that's why I don't worry about these guys, right? Fundamentally, they're sitting good, and that's what the way I look at this, right? It's a fundamental investment, because I've seen it happen with other ones, like with Riot, right? I played Riot a while ago. We got Mara, we got HUD, we got all these miners. So when crypto moves, you know, they move too. And they, like I said, they literally bought the dip. Alrighty, let's talk about Loopring now real quick. Like I told you guys, it's here finally. This was the price area that I said about $1.50. So I think the bottom because of this pitchfork that I got going here. And also to point out, it filled this gap. So when this is called a gap up. So now it's finally filled here. You see the bottoms right here in the top right there. That's technically saying that the gap has been filled. Okay. And we've talked about this before in past videos. And like I said, we're all waiting on the news, guys. We're waiting on a catalyst. Not a lot of action right now. Not a lot of volume coming in, right? And it's following the overall crypto market. So it doesn't matter, right? If I look at the month, the week, it's all down. But it has to do with the volume, low volume. This used to be, you know, between 600 million, 800 million. The market cap is down to 1.9, but you do have more buying than selling, right? So that's also a bullish indicator. And, you know, to me right now, guys, I'm pretty much neutral. I'm pretty much even now, right? Because it came down so much. I think I got in like at $1.30 or $1.25. But the good thing is that the typical days of holding is going up, right? So 27 days. It used to be, you know, 10, 11 days. That just means that people are just holding, right? Accumulating, waiting, holding their coins. Now, real quick, this is called price prediction. This is what they're predicting for the next coming years. Just wanted to point this out. So by, let's see, 2024, they're saying it's going to be between 493 and 546. By 2027, it should be around $15 to $17. And if you're willing to go to the 2030 and all that, if you're willing to hold that long, they're predicting it'll be around $55 to $47. And then the high is $79 and $71, right? Kind of breaks down the current situation they're in, right? And the charts and what's happened recently, right? So remember that not too long ago, Loopring was in the cents, 40 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, and now it's holding $1.50, right? So if you got in back then, of course you're still sitting way in the green. So I just want to point this out. I'll put this link down below. It's kind of explaining here. I'll read this, by 2025. Let's see. As per the forecast price and technical analysis, in 2024, the price of Loopring is predicted to reach a minimum of 480. The Loopring price can reach a maximum of 546 with the average trading price of 493. All right, cool. Yeah, here you go. So remember, I'll put all the links down below, guys. That's all I really got for you today. And remember, just to recap the video, guys, the main point is to have an exit strategy, guys, where it doesn't matter what trade you're in, specifically for AMC. Yes, I'm talking about the squeeze, because it's going to happen quick and fast and you're going to have to make decisions. So please, guys, just have an exit strategy, whether you listen to this YouTuber or that YouTuber or whatever. Always make your own decisions, guys. You don't want to be influenced and do something that you regret or didn't want to do, right? So thanks again, guys, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Later.